Hi guys. So I wanted to get this video out as soon as I could because I think it is a good reminder to be safe out there when you're running around getting all your shopping done for the Christmas season. I got an email from KK on December 17th that she had a scary experience with a potential kidnapper just the day before, on December 16th, at a major retailer. Hers is the first story in this video. I like to think that these videos do more than just entertain. By listening to the types of things that go on in the world, it's my hope that you may become a little more aware of your surroundings and perhaps even exercise a little more caution when going on with your day-to-day activities. Sometimes just being aware and cautious could be enough to avoid a potential danger. Just some friendly advice and food for thought. So I hope you like this video and that you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And please remember to be safe this holiday season and have a very Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate it. Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends and a happy holiday season to everyone else. So here's the video and thanks for watching. This happened yesterday at a major retail store between 2 and 3 p.m. on Wednesday, the 16th, 2015. Let me give you a little background information. I'm 5'4", 112-pound mother of 2. My daughter is 6 and my son is 1. We just moved back to California from Washington in November because my boyfriend was getting out of the military. Anyways, my boyfriend's parents sent our kids an $80 gift card to a well-known retail store. I decided to take them when my daughter got out of school. Wednesdays are half days at her school. So we head down to the store. It was a nightmare because the whole place was under construction from the parking lot to the inside. We finally get inside with my son in the cart and my daughter next to me. We look at the toys, shoes, etc. My daughter says that she wants to get a purse. So we start looking for purses. We ended up in the women's clothing area. Let me explain this area. It looks like they shoved everything into the corner. That whole area was under construction. There were places that you could easily get in and out of. There were 2 young girls in that area as well. My daughter and I were laughing at the silly Christmas sweaters. I noticed a man, about my age, standing in the row behind us. White guy, about 5'10", 180 pounds or so. He had a shaved head and a blonde goatee. I thought to myself, how clueless this guy must be. So we continued to look at different stuff when I noticed the guy was following us. The 2 young girls had left, so it was just me, my 2 kids, and this man. He starts pacing back and forth. He takes his sweater off and puts it over his arms. He had full tattoo sleeves, black and gray, on both arms. On his left arm, it looked like he had flames going up the arm. I noticed because I am also covered in tattoos. So I grab my daughter and I start walking away. Then he starts walking behind us. My blood ran cold when I heard his camera go off a few times. I turn around and see his phone was pointed directly at my daughter. I was getting freaked out now. When I looked again, he had his sweater open to where it looked like he was going to bag her with it and run. I gave him a dirty look and I started walking fast with a grip on my daughter's arm. I kept looking behind me and he was still following us. I started weaving in and out of the aisles to lose him. I eventually found a worker and I told her what happened. She grabs another worker and I told her the same thing. Then I paid for my stuff and I left. I made sure no one followed me to my car. As soon as I got home, I called the store and I spoke to the manager. She said that they were aware of the situation. They knew what happened and she already looked at the surveillance footage. She said the guy started following us as soon as we stepped into the store. She even could tell the exact moment that he took a picture because how I turned around and booked it out of there. I called the police and I made a police report. I was such an easy target because of the small girl, and I have 2 small children, one standing next to me and one in the cart. He could have easily taken her out of the side that was under construction. What would I do then? I couldn't leave my son in the middle of the store and chase after my daughter. If I took my son with me, he would have gotten away easily. So many questions and what ifs. The scary part is, they couldn't find him in the store after that. I wish there was a way I could get the video. I'm just happy that my daughter is safe. It makes me sick to think if I just let her out of my sight for 1 second, how different that outcome could have been. I grew up in an affluent neighborhood, about 45 minutes away from a major city in the U.S. My neighborhood was a total bedroom community, around 4,000 people, which means virtually no crime, aside from stupid rich tard kids driving around hitting mailboxes with a baseball bat. I had much more sense early on because both of my parents worked hard and taught me the value of doing the same, along with other virtues, like respect, and just generally not being a total clown shoes asshole to people. Anyway, for reference, this event happened when I was 12 in the late 90s. I'm a girl, and though I've since grown about 4 inches, I was about 5'2" and probably barely 100 pounds at the time. I've always been very athletic, playing multiple sports from the time I was even mildly conscious, because I have a good number of high-level athletes in my family, including my dad. My mom is from a major city and taught me the value of awareness of my surroundings early. All this will make sense in a moment. She always told me to have my keys to our house out and in my hand as soon as I got off the school bus to walk down my street home, though I never knew why. I am so glad she always stressed this, because I'm pretty certain it saved my life. So one day, I say bye to my friends, and I hop off the school bus to take the short walk down to my house. My street curves in a half circle, which makes it difficult to see around the curve. So basically, you can only see a bit in front and behind as you walk. It's the least creepy street ever. Neighbors all around with a comfortable distance between houses. As I'm mindlessly walking around my curving street, I get a funny feeling that makes me turn and look behind me. Just as the crossing street is going out of my view, I see a man walking down the street that my street makes a T-shape with, the one I was dropped off on. Weird, I think, as I've never seen him before. Not to say that we knew everyone, but what struck me was that he wasn't really dressed like people did around there. He was dressed fine in jeans and a polo, both of which were way too big. I shrugged and I kept walking, but something was really bothering me about this guy. I was about to walk to my next-door neighbor's house, still pondering what was making me feel scared, when I looked back again. I figured I'd have to walk out into the street a bit to see where he went, but no. I had walked a fair distance, but this guy was suddenly no more than 10 feet from me. You always think in situations like this you'd scream or something, but my breath caught in my throat. I couldn't fathom how he'd gotten so close that fast, and his wide-eyed, hyper-focused stare threw daggers into my stomach. I knew I was in big, big trouble. Not wanting to find out what the fuck he wanted, who he was, or why he was gaining on me, I went directly into flight mode, knowing my house was about 100 yards away. I ran hard. I took off running across my driveway and realized he was running after me because I heard his feet on the asphalt, then on my driveway. I know he was close because I ran track, but I didn't waste time looking back, realizing my backpack, which probably weighed half of what I did, was slowing me down. I threw my arms back, holding my keys in a death grip. I knew I could outrun him if I weren't so heavy, and my backpack just slipped off. I was able to gain distance on him, and I don't know if it was panic or adrenaline, whatever. My front door keyhole became huge in my eyesight, and I jammed my key in and got inside. I slammed my big-ass oak door so hard that it recoiled, and half thinking about what could have happened if he got into my empty house, I slammed it closed and locked it. I stood there for a second, just wide-eyed and confused, until I realized I should look out the peephole. When I did, it was pitch black. More confusion. It was only 3 p.m. I stood looking and starting to shake uncontrollably, and that's when I saw why it was black. Light started coming through as I saw this fucking creep's eyes, and then him backing away from the door, having tried to look in. He was that close to me. He stood there for a moment, eyeballing my door and house, probably looking for another way in. Then he started turning around on my porch to face the street, cursing under his breath. I could see him mouthing it, but I couldn't hear partially, I'm sure, because I was in total shock. Then he raises the creep factor to new heights. He skip walks off my porch, across my giant lawn to the street, in the same direction we had been running, and raises his hands in the air. From behind my very tall pine trees on the right side from my vantage point, I see a white, windowless van pull up in front, and he hops in. I can't see the driver because of the tinted windows in front, but they sat there. I swear I could feel them looking at my door, maybe figuring out what to do next. I'm shaking just writing this right now. They drove off and I slumped to the floor, shaking and freaking out so hard I legitimately had to crawl to my kitchen. I hid and called my mom, who, despite working all the way downtown in the city, made the 45-minute drive home in 15 minutes. She drove around ready to pull their spines out because although she's the kindest person I've ever known, she will kick your ass, or worse if you messed with me. We called the cops, and I gave my statement, but they never found those freaks. So, creepy bait and switch kidnappers, let's not ever meet.